Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today we are talking about why I still bought an M1 MacBook Air even though it's almost been 1 year since this was announced. Welcome everyone, and if you are new here, my name is Andrew. I'm a photographer and videographer, and I teach YouTube tutorials about how to create amazing content. But today I wanted to do something a little different here and talk about the tech behind my workflow. And I thought this would make a really interesting video about why I made this decision to buy something so late in the game, even with the M1X or M2 chip or whatever they end up calling it on the horizon. So like I mentioned, we're coming up on 1 year of the M1 being out and about. And I'm sure you've seen tons of reviews and tech videos talking about the M1 and how amazing and magical it is and how it can do your dishes and do your hair and, you know, all the things. And you know, I've done the same thing, watching dozens and dozens of videos trying to figure out what is this thing really about, and does it really live up to all of the hype? And for some reason, I found this super interesting that out of their M1 lineup, the computer that people are talking about the most is the MacBook Air. So let's get into that. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm a photographer and videographer, and my workload on a computer is pretty demanding. Those are all tasks that take a lot of performance outside of your basic, like, you know, watch YouTube, send emails, do your homework, I don't know, whatever you're doing. So as a creative, I need something that can keep up with my workflow. And my previous laptops were not cutting it. Now, I'm very, very happy with this purchase. But to be 1000% transparent here, I bought this laptop with the intent to instantly replace it when the M1 2X, we'll just call it M2 for now, whenever the new powerhouse 16-inch laptop comes out. But I still think this laptop is worth every penny. This laptop is really confusing. The MacBook Air has never necessarily been known to be a powerhouse. It's more like, hey, I need a screen that allows me to go on the internet that isn't my phone. And to be honest, that's kind of where the MacBook Air has existed along its lineup of, you know, bigger brothers and sisters that are meant for heavier tasks, heavier editing, heavier performance. And like we mentioned, the M1 chip has created a lot of hype. And I've got to say, it's pretty close to being real. And I will say this right out of the gate, with all of this hype around the M1 chip, I was expecting absolute flawless perfection. And I know that's not realistic, but I was still very surprised at what I'm able to do with this laptop, even though this is actually the base model. Zero upgrades at all. In my opinion, the reason that the MacBook Air is what it is right now is because of its price to performance ratio. This is one of the first times that Apple has made something that is actually good and actually affordable, which feels kind of mean to say. At less than $1,000, the performance that you're able to get out of an entry-level laptop is insane. And again, it's not perfection by any means, but this laptop will outlive a lot of demands for a long time. As I mentioned before, I fully intend on replacing this at some point with the new whatever. But for now, this is absolutely getting the job done. And if you were to tell me that this new chip, new laptop isn't coming out for a really long time, I would totally be okay with that. And this could absolutely get me to that point and then some. So who is this laptop for? I don't know that I would recommend it for creatives. You could absolutely get by, but I think the move is to future-proof yourself with whatever laptop is coming over the horizon, because that will last a lot longer. Like I mentioned, my current laptops are just not cutting it, and this is absolutely getting the job done. So I think if money is tight and you're in a pinch, you could absolutely use the M1 MacBook Air as your workhorse, as your daily driver, and you would be fine for a long time. Like, let's say you're a student. This would knock it out of the park for a student because it's affordable. You could get it with Apple's educational pricing right now, which comes with AirPods, or you could go to Costco, get it for, I think it's $8.50 right now. Long story short, that's very affordable for a very powerful laptop. And the power of the MacBook Air would 100% outlive whatever you would need to do in school. I don't want this to come off like I'm some Apple fanboy, but to sum up all of my thoughts on this laptop, this is very powerful for how affordable it is. Its performance will probably outlive your demands for a while. This thing is really light and really small. It's a very unassuming laptop, and not to mention, it doesn't even have a fan, so you won't be embarrassed when you're sitting in class or in a meeting and you just hear, you know? We've all been there. Technology is insane, and right now there is so much going on in the laptop scene, and the reason I wanted to make this video is because spending so much money on a computer has never been a more confusing time because there's so many specs and numbers and names being thrown everywhere. I wanted to make this really simple video to say this is probably the safest and most affordable way to overkill what you need, even though there's so many laptops out there that claim to have all the bells and whistles. If you have any questions or things that you'd like me to test, please go ahead and drop that in the comments down below. I am looking forward to the new laptop whenever that comes out. And yeah, those are my thoughts. If you like this video, drop a like. It actually makes a difference. Do not forget to subscribe for more content like this, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.